Welcome to our conversation on the recent decision regarding match fees in the National T20 Cup. The PCB has cut player fees by a whopping 75%, from PKR 40,000 last time down to just PKR 10,000 now. Quite the change, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a pretty drastic move. And just to be clear, reserve players are getting PKR 5,000 per game, right?
Yep, exactly. Now, while on paper it might look like a severe reduction, the board argues that overall earnings haven't dropped. They've highlighted increased opportunities in other domestic tournaments, like the Champions T20 Cup, which, by the way, was hosted in December 2024.
Right. So the idea is that with more tournaments, players get more chances to earn. But isn't that a bit of a stretch? I mean, reducing match fees so drastically seems to send a different message altogether.
I get where you're coming from. It's almost like they're saying that the game's financial ecosystem has advanced to a point where individual match fees aren't as critical, especially when players have, a departmental salary or those additional tournaments.
Yeah, true. True, but then there's the irony. Just a short time ago, the PCB chairman mentioned that funds in the accounts shouldn't be locked away, but rather used to benefit the players. Now, with expensive stadium upgrades and high-profile coach contracts, it seems like the money's going in another direction.
Exactly. It's like, on one hand, the board promises investment in the players, but on the other, they're making significant expenditures on infrastructure and high-profile hires. It's a puzzling decision.
Absolutely. And then there's the tournament schedule. 39 matches across Faisalabad, Lahore, and Multan, culminating in a final on March 27th. That's a hefty calendar.
Right. Yeah. And it seems the board is banking on the increased volume of matches and the promise of other revenue streams to offset the match fee cuts. But one has to wonder, is it really fair to players, especially when several leading internationals won't even feature because they're with the national team abroad?
Yeah, that's a valid point. I think it raises questions about overall player welfare. I mean, even if aggregate earnings might look similar, match fees matter on a game-to-game basis, especially for those not employed otherwise.
Exactly. Right. And we can't ignore the optics here. While the board touts the players' expanded earnings potential over a season, the immediate financial impact on matchday performance and morale is worth contemplating.
Definitely. Yep. So, in a way, this decision might undermine player confidence even if there's an overall promise of more money coming from other tournaments and departmental salaries.
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of a double-edged sword. On one end, increased tournament play and salary structures. But on the other, a signal that individual match contributions are being devalued, at least in this format.
Right, indeed. And that brings us to the broader question. Is this a sustainable model for nurturing local talent, or does it risk alienating players who rely on these fees?
That's the million-dollar question. That's something to watch as the National T20 Cup unfolds. The decision might stir debate among stakeholders, and frankly, it's a fascinating case of financial strategy meeting sports management.
Absolutely, a real head scratcher.